Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As promised, I wanted to talk about some inexpensive alternatives for palette pens or palette fountain pens. First up we have the palette Varsity, and this is a pack of 7, and these cost about $16, so a little over $2 a pen. And these, you can either get these in this multicolored pack like I have, or you can get blue, black, the regular colors. And yeah, that's the Varsity. And if you look closer, you can maybe see the ink in that window. It may be hard to see, but the ink is probably about up to here. And I've only used these to doodle, so I haven't used it too much, but that's a good amount of ink. So this is the plastic section. This is the nibs, stainless steel nib, and this is a medium. I think, if I'm not mistaken, all Varsities are medium. And that's the feed. Very inexpensive option for a fountain pen. Very good to draw with. So those are the Varsities. And I'll show you a writing sample in a little bit. They do write very well. Next up is the Metropolitan, which is a very popular pen. This is an aluminum body, aluminum barrel. This section here, the lizard print, is plastic. You have a little metal ring there, and you have a stainless steel clip, very firm. And I think it says Japan there, or palette, I'm not sure what it says, it says Japan. And you have metal here where the cap clips, a plastic section here with a little bit of a lip, and there's the nib. This is a medium stainless steel nib. It's a plastic section, and these do come in multiple colors. You don't have to get the animal print. They have different multiple variations of this. It's a very nice pen, very nice writer. And this was about, I actually received this in error. Retailer sent me the wrong pen, and I responded, you sent me the wrong pen. And their response was, I couldn't make sense of it. So I just kept it. This pen was probably about $4 more than the pen that I ordered. So yeah, I just kept it. So yeah, these are about $17, and they go up to $30, but the $30 ones I think include packs of ink. So about $15 to $17. Next up is a Palette Explorer, and this is a plastic or resin bodies. In the specs it says it's resin. See, beautiful color, but it is very light. The clip is very strong clip there, very firm, nothing at the finial. And it's also a click. And you see this little semi-translucent area here. And it's plastic also with a little lip. And this pen is actually a little bit more expensive than the Metropolitan. I'm not sure why, but it does says super quality. I don't know if you can see that on the nib. It says super quality. So I don't know if that's the reason. That's the feed. And this is a fine point. This is cartridge in this one. And I do believe it's the same cartridge in the Metropolitan, if I'm not mistaken, but the standard palette cartridge. And these come in the same box, which is this palette box here, the interior box. And one nice thing is they both come with this converter, which I haven't tried, but it's the squeeze converter. I have to try that. But that's nice that they included the converter with both of these inexpensive pens. So next up are the Preras. I have a hard time saying Prera. P-R-E-R-A. So this Prera here is a calligraphy point. And the transparent Preras are called Euro Eye. There are also other Preras that are solid, but these are the Euro Eye. And these as well come with converter. It's a converter with little balls in it for surface tension. I think it helps with that. So it's very nice. I have a hard time with this nib. I just don't think I'm a fan of calligraphy or stub nibs, but that's the stainless steel nib there. And that's Prera, Pilot Japan. And this doesn't do anything, it's just for looks. Kind of a smoky, and it's the metal point at the finial. And the next Prera is a fine point. And this is also Euro Eye, as it is transparent. You see there's a fine point. It's blue trim. So there's the fine point. And same feed. These all have pretty much the same type of feed, plastic feed. These both came in different, they came in different boxes. The calligraphy point came in this one, and they both had a cartridge and, as you can see, the converter. The fine point Euro Eye came in a slightly nicer box, but with the same cartridge and converter. So now I will show you the sizes. This is a fairly small pen. This is much longer, as you can see. And this Metropolitan is probably a standard size pen, and it fits in there. Probably comparable to a Lamy, I would say. So that is the size. I won't bother weighing them, as they're all lightweight pens. So I don't think anyone will really, unless you have really bad hands or arthritis or something, will have any issues with the size or the weight of these pens. So again, these were about $31 to $35, $22, and about $17. And Pilot has they have the Procyon, which is about $65, and the Lucina, which is about $50. And of course, they go up. You have these that I talked about this one in a previous video. This was $89, and the medium version here was $98. These are very, very good step-up pens, and I highly recommend these. If you want a 14 karat gold nib, and the only issue with these is that they're small. Probably, if you're prone to losing something, then you may not want this, but they do nicely transform into just about a full-size pen once you post it. So these are the Elite E95S. And you can see my previous video on the Elite. If you want, to step up and just save a few dollars, if the budget is an issue, I would do that. If you don't mind the size, I would definitely save up and just get one of these. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the writing samples quickly. Zoom in a little bit. I'm going to start with the palette Varsity. I'm just going to use the one I've been talking about, this blue one. So the pen, I'll start with my right hand. It's the palette Varsity. You see it's very smooth. Ink, it's just included ink. The nib, it's medium, stainless steel. So, not too much line weight variation to speak of, but you get a little bit. It does write very well in reverse, actually. You get a nice, almost fine point in reverse. And so this was, as I was saying, a 7-pack for $16. And my left hand, still writes very well in reverse. Very nice. No issues. You know, very good pen to draw with. Very good entry level if you just want to see if a fountain pen is for you. This is a very good option. And they, like I said, they come in different colors. You don't have to get this multicolored pack. So that's the palette Varsity. So switching over to the Metropolitan. And this is the animal model, the lizard pattern, and the ink, included cartridge, and the nib. It's a medium, stainless steel. It feels like it flexes, but I'm not really seeing any variation, really. Any significant variation anyway. It doesn't write as well in reverse as the Varsity, but it does. So my left hand. Okay. And this is a wet writer as well. But because I don't write like this, I'm not going to get any ink on my hands. But lefties that write like this, you may have some issues because it's still not dry there. And this is about $17 on Amazon. And these do come in, like I said, multiple colors. Comes in a fine, medium, and a 1.0. Yeah. Very nice pen. I can't recommend this highly enough for a good, very good entry level pen. And next we have the Explorer. I'm going to start with my left hand for this one. This is a fine point. It's not as smooth as the Metropolitan, but it is a fine point. Ink, included cartridge, nib. It's a fine stainless steel. And so you can see with all of these, there's no skipping or anything like that with these. This has not a bad, has some line weight variation, not bad at all. Not good in reverse. But my right hand, this is $22 or so. And I don't know, it's probably not fair to compare a fine nib to a medium, but I tend to like fine nibs more. But I think this is, to me, it just feels better than this. But this is not a bad pen at all. It's a very good pen. I just prefer this just a little bit more. So next up are the Preras. So this is a calligraphy, CM calligraphy. And so my right hand, see the problem I have with this one is that when I go up, it tears the paper a little bit. So when you write with this one, you have to write almost parallel. Otherwise, when you get there, it starts to tear up the paper. And this ink is Iroshizuku, the palette, Iroshizuku. What is this one? Ajisai? Or maybe this one is a Kompeki. One of those. I think it's, I'm not sure what this, I think it's Ajisai. And the nib, see, I just tore a piece of the paper. I just tore a piece of it. And nib is a calligraphy. So it's very smooth when you go down. It's just when you go up. Stainless steel. So when you go this way and when you go this way, it's nice. But when you go up, you have to get it just right. You can hear a lot of feedback. But I mean, it's very nice. It's just, you have to get it just right. So a left hand. It's not an extremely wet writer. This is dry already. So next up is the fine point. So yeah, I got the inks mixed. This is Kompeki in this one. And this one, the blue is Kompeki. So palette, Prera. This ink is the palette Iro Shizuku. And this one is the Ajisai. And the nib is the fine stainless steel, which I love. You can see I'm writing without it posted, but it's probably more comfortable posted. Some line weight variation. Not that great in reverse. This pen is probably really good for lefties who write like that, because you may be better off with this because you won't. It's already dry. It dries really fast. And so again, these are about $31 to $35. And I forgot to mention that these are the Eero. The transparent ones are the Eero Eye. The solid plastic ones are, I don't think they have a name, but these are Eero Eye. So if you see Eero Eye, it's the transparent or the demonstrator version. So I stored all these overnight, cap down, and I don't really see any ink, just a little bit there. So there's no leaking in this one, which is good. I assume this one is probably the same. I don't see, I just see some on the in there. Probably where I, hit it. Let me try the Explorer. Just a little bit of black ink. Try me another Q-tip. A little bit of black, really nothing. So none of these pens are leaking, which is a good thing. But that's all I had for today. I've gone almost 21 minutes. I'm going to hit 21 minutes, but I wanted to kind of make it fast, but it didn't turn out that way. But as long as I got everything across that I wanted to. Again, if you want a palette, but you don't want something quite this inexpensive, and you want to step up, again, I recommend these highly. This is a medium. This is a fine point palette Elite E95S. But like I said, all these are good, so I hope this was helpful. So until next time, take care.